What's up, everybody? This is Alex Christoforou, and I'm here with Peter Lavelle, host of RT's Crosstalk. And today we're going to be talking about identity politics. Has it gone too far? All right, Peter, we had an interesting week last week. I would like to call it a complete meltdown. We saw Rachel Maddow fake cry on air.
Crocodile tears.
Crocodile tears. We saw a lot of words.
Virtue signaling. Virtue
signaling. We saw he's a white supremacist, he's a xenophobe, he's a neo-Nazi. The alt-right is doing this, the alt-right is doing that. If you vote for Trump, you're a racist. We heard all of that and more last week. Explain to us what the hell is going on. Is this hysteria normal? Have you ever seen it before in history?
Okay, let's give one small example that everybody knows about. The Supreme Court ruled recently on that baker that refused to make a cake for a gay couple. Okay, and there was all of this intolerance, and then you have Huckabee Sanders go to a restaurant and want to have a meal with her family and friends, and she's shamed out of it, okay? I mean, you can't have it both ways, okay? You can't, all right? The liberals were outraged that this baker has his own religious beliefs, and then the liberals deny Huckabee Sanders her right to any kind of modicum of peace in a public place, okay? The hypocrisy is just rank, okay? It's just unbelievable. And it means they don't have any answers. They don't have any solutions. They see that, at least in Trump world, by their own matrix, he's doing well, by their own definition. And this is driving them up the wall. I mean, they can't conceive that this president's agenda is moving forward. If you agree with it or disagree with it, it is moving forward, at least under the matrices that they have decided it to be. Also, it shows that they don't have any facts or logic to fight. They just go to virtue signaling, and that's the only way they know how to comprehend what's going on right now. And it shows just a complete deficit of thought. It's truly amazing. I mean, Maxine Waters now is, their hero. Okay, what do they call her? Auntie Maxine, yeah, right? I mean, now just throw away everything that we've thought about in the last 200 years about civility in public places. Okay, I mean, it's really extraordinary. It says a lot that she's their standard bearer. Okay, I mean, that says a lot in itself. Okay. And then, where was Chuck Schumer and where was Nancy Pelosi when anyone, in looking at tearing children away from their parents, this has been going on for decades, okay? I mean, it was known going under the Obama administration. It's because, I'm sorry again, I'm getting in more trouble as I go along here. I'll be politically incorrect. Build a wall, then nobody will get separated, okay? It's simple. Done.
That was his election promise, wasn't it? His big election promise.
And I support that. I absolutely support that. For those that criticize me and criticize you and people like ourselves, this isn't 1905 Ellis Island, okay? Because that economy needed muscles. They need someone to carry bricks and use hammers. We need computers today. We need intelligent people. You want to come, get in line, and if you qualify, you might get a chance. But just because you're a human being doesn't give you the right to become an American citizen or enter America, because I'm not even sure these people want to become American citizens. They just want to be there, okay, and live off the largesse, okay? No, this is the 21st century, 2018. We live in a very, very competitive world, and you can be picky. Why not? Merit should win. Merit will succeed. Merit will make a strong economy, okay, and a better society. I'm being logical, and I'm willing to argue these points, but I don't get from the other side. So you're just a racist. Okay, that's like doing this. I mean, there's no conversation.
How do you think the middle America, Trump's base, is seeing all of this? They're seeing the media talk down to them. They're seeing the media actually call them racists, to be honest. Yes. How do you think they're feeling right now?
Ladies and gentlemen, I spent the formative years of my life in the state of Colorado in a suburb outside of Denver. The Midwest is in my heart, okay? What I think has happened here is that we saw during the election, and we have now, people that support the president, they know all of his blemishes and flaws. Okay, it's not news. It's not news. And this constant demonization of him works to his advantage because people now are just shutting out the mainstream because they don't, first of all, not only do they insult the man that they elected, they insult the voters, okay, and his constituents. And so when they see he makes a mistake, they'll say, yeah, he made a mistake. But it's kind of like, you can't beat up on my little brother. I can, okay? I can criticize the president because I'm on his team. But you can't because you're the irredeemable person because you won't accept the outcome of the election that we determined, okay, under the current laws. So what he's doing is, I watched, he was in Duluth a few days ago, and I watched a good part of the speech. Yeah, it was typical Trump, a lot of hyperbole. It was, a lot of bluster at times, but that's what his base wants. Okay, and he's giving what they want. All right, and so I think his people realize the more he's demonized by the mainstream, because the mainstream and the Democrats are seen as on the same team. Okay, I saw Brian Stelter just a few hours ago. Just so blatantly hostile. It's hard to watch because I don't care what Brian Stelter thinks, okay? He's got that helium head and everything. Who cares? I don't care what he thinks. I want a discussion of the issues. And that's what I have always said. And I've said to you privately and on this venue, when I disagree with President Trump, I'm really adamant about it. And I show my fury, okay? But there's only one president, okay? And we have a Congress. And we have something called elections. As long as the Democrats play by the rules, we can have electoral outcomes, all right? So, that's what the system we have. And because they're unwilling to work with the legitimately elected president of the United States, they're unwilling to sit down and negotiate. That's what our democratic process is supposed to be about. Okay, it's immigration. Even the Republicans won't even sit down. So this is their fault. And what they do is they build up Trump. I think everyone's going to be surprised in November. I really think they're going to be surprised. I think Trump has coattails, and I think it's going to work to his advantage, at least as we speak here right now.
Right. So let's get to policy then. In the backdrop of all of this is the Horowitz investigation, the Horowitz testimony. I don't want to say investigation, the Mueller investigation, the Horowitz testimony, which was pretty revealing. It was actually quite stunning. So would you say that all of this may have been a distraction? All
Absolutely.
of this hoopla, all this immigration hysteria. And what does this tell you about what's really going on in the Russia, Trump, Mueller investigation narrative that's playing on?
He's winding it down. It looks to me that he's going to take whatever he picked up that has nothing to do with Russia, like Manafort and Flynn and stuff like that. He's going to delegate it out to some underlings. It'll go to localities where the quote-unquote crime was committed, not main justice, not a main investigation. It's going to be diffuse here. Peter Strzok, in a matter of a day or so, is going to be testifying, and that's going to tell us a lot too. Okay, did you notice, Alex, that all last week it was about ripping children from their parents? The IG report. Oh my goodness, I read a good part of it. How Horowitz came to those conclusions is beyond me. But I think there's something in play right here. Number one, they know there's no Russian collusion. It's just a delusion. That's one thing. They know that the Democrats don't have anything to work with. That's why they took those images from 2014, not 2018. Okay, just kind of a fact check there. And they're ready to wind this thing down, but they need to replace it with something.
There you go.
And then the fake Time magazine thing. See, this is all orchestrated. This is all the talking points go out. Go ahead, go watch Morning Joe all the way to Rachel Maddow. They all say the same thing. They are all the same hem sheet. Okay, And that's why they've made this diversion. So it seems to me the Strzok thing, I mean, of course, you can rely upon Fox News. They'll be covering it, wall to wall. But I don't think the other networks are going to do it. Cable is going to probably stay away from it. The thing that I'm going to be interested in is if Peter Strzok is going to throw somebody under the bus. Okay, Andy McCabe, Jim Comey, will give up his girlfriend Lisa Page, and others. Okay, another thing I think that's really in play here, and I think this is what the kind of a deeper layer. What makes Jeff Sessions and Christopher Wray tick? And it seems to me, I think that they have discovered such egregious malfeasance by the cast of characters, and we don't have to go through all their names, that did get Hillary off the hook and tried to incriminate Trump, the same cast of characters. I think they find that it's so egregious that I think they really are worried about the institutions. I think they really are. And I think that explains Horowitz's conclusions, because we're basically looking like you're going to have to completely investigate, clean out the FBI. What's it? The seventh floor? I don't remember, but the main floor there at the FBI headquarters. And I think Christopher Wray, being a Trump appointee, he's looking at the institutional impact here, and I think he's worried about it, the demoralization of people at Justice and at the FBI. I really wish that some of the second, third tier people would come to Congress and testify to what was going on. Because, I mean, reading the IG report, and that's only part one, we have the quote unquote Russiagate coming up. It's malfeasance that we haven't seen since J. Edgar Hoover. Okay. I mean, it's really very, very serious. So these are all the different layers that are playing at the same time.
So do you think that this, the identity politics, taken to level 12, do you think that Sessions and Wray and even many of the Republicans or many of the establishment government people in DC, do you think they want to drag out the identity politics hysteria so that they can also diminish some of the impact that this will have on the institutions of the FBI and the DOJ?
Yeah, it's going to be kind of like, well, never mind, let's move along, okay? I mean, he did his investigation, that's all we wanted to do, and things like that. Because part of your question is probably the most important element of what's going on here, is that some Republicans, okay? Because you and I, and our viewers, for the most part, are not making a huge distinction between the two major parties. I'm looking at the elites of both parties that are in lockstep together. Okay, and that's one of the reasons why we see it's not Trump that's causing all of this gridlock. It's actually the leaderships of both parties. Because look what's happening. And Tuesday's elections in the U.S. will tell us a lot about the state of the Republican Party and the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party, in its base, wants to move to the left, progressive, big league. Okay, and then the Republicans, Trump's base, they want Trumpism. They don't want these kind of like Mitt Romneys. Okay, even though he'll probably win in Nevada, but it's really the tension is that both bases versus the leadership, and then both leaderships of those party of both caucus, they're still they don't embrace Trump. They really don't. Okay, and this is why it's causing all of the. It's like throwing a spoke into the wheels. Okay, that's why it's not functioning here. Identity politics is always a good fallback position because it's emotive. It pulls on your heartstrings. It's virtue signaling. You don't have to think a lot, okay? And of course, it shows the liberal media how morally superior they are to everyone else, okay? So in that regard, all of this, it'll be very telling how Peter Strzok's questioning how it will be covered, okay? And I'm really interested, will he take the fifth? He takes the fifth. That's going to start complicating things here. And we do know, and today is the deadline, is for Congress to get those documents from the DOJ and the FBI. For God's sakes, Sessions is there. Christopher Wray is there. Okay, is Rosenstein really? Is he running the FBI? I mean, this is very, very interesting. I've never seen anything like this before. So we're going to see where this is going to go. I think Peter Strzok's interview is going to be probably, and it's not. Let's be clear here. It's not going to be public. This is just a private, behind closed doors convening, and then, well, from what I understand, that there'll be one. He'll have an open session testimony soon after, depending on what he has to say. I'd be very curious what kind of beans he wants to spill, because we know a lot about him already. Okay, and how come? Okay, I mean, even the Wall Street Journal now is coming on board, saying, there's no there there. The real problem is the bias that we saw. You can say, I think Trump's an idiot, okay? But if I'm the deputy head of the FBI and I'm determining what investigation I want to go to, and I have that opinion of the president, then you should be recused, okay? And that's exactly not what happened. So the left and the liberals, they'll find they'll find another kid in a cage, okay?
This goes into my question, and finally, I want your analysis. If this is if I phrase this correctly, I want you to elaborate on it. Can you make the assumption that this layer of this elite people that run the United States, Republican, Democrats, whoever they are, they're willing, they're ready, and they're able to tear apart the country with identity politics, and literally tear apart the country in order to save the institutions? And where do you see this ending?
Yeah, but if they think they're saving the institutions, they're just destroying them. And this is what I've said from the get-go, okay, is that we have institutions, we have laws, we have an occupant of the White House, okay? But he's a mortal man, and there are term limits. Okay, what they think they would prefer to see the Third World War, because that would get rid of the Trump administration. I mean, that is very, very dangerous thinking. Okay, so yeah, I mean, the thing is that they think they're saving the institutions, but what they're doing is they're destroying them. They're destroying them in the process. Okay, I mean, Trump is a historical anomaly. He never should have been there. And that is the mindset of these people, and they can't comprehend it. I mean, it's almost 2 years. I mean, really, they can't. That's really amazing. Okay. And I think that they would be. I mean, Alex, we are in a civil war. It's already started.
Where does it end, Peter? Where does it go? Because when you call someone, we were mentioning this yesterday on Crosstalk, when you call someone a white supremacist, a xenophobe, whatever, you're giving them a license to commit brutal acts of violence. I mean, when one side commits violence, you're going to say, when there's an action, there's going to be a reaction. Where do you see this ending?
Nowhere good. Nowhere good. I mean, we might have to have a moment where something so extraordinary, tragic happens that people step back and say, "Oh my God, we can't go there." But I don't see anyone. I don't see I don't call them the left. I call them the Antifa people, because that's exactly what they are. They are closed-minded. As I said yesterday to you on Crosstalk, I do not like using the word fascist, and I don't like using the word Nazi. I was a trained historian. I know the histories of both those terms, and I use those words very sparingly, because we should. Okay, and what we have right now is open season, and I've had to deal with this closed-minded left in the past. I live in Russia. I don't come across it that much. Thank God. That's one of the reasons I like living here. But I mean, they are so attuned to they're so ideologically possessed, and this is what's going to trigger something extraordinarily tragic in my mind, because I don't see anybody putting any stops on it right now. I mean, look at the cable stations minus Fox. I mean, they're just pouring more in because they're losing. They're losing. They keep losing, and they need something really dramatic. I think they're going to keep pushing the immigration thing, which, if there was one single issue that got Trump elected, it was immigration. They want controls on it. I mean, that's a bad idea for them to go back that up, because Russiagate failed. We see massive corruption under the Obama administration. I think we're going to see more of it. Their Messiah was a fake Messiah. It was no scandals under the Obama administration. Really? Yeah, we haven't. I think we're just seeing the beginning right now, just the beginning. And the DOJ, the FBI are so corrupt at the very, very top. Sessions knows it. Christopher Wray knows it. And I think they're trying to gamble on how to be able to reset things without overthrowing the whole thing on. And that will actually fuel, because they'll say, look what Trump did. He's destroying the FBI. And of course they'll say, this is what's like Nazi Germany. No, it's not. Okay, it's absolutely not the same thing. So we live in a trigger moment, I think, right now.
So here's my final question for you to close it out. If the identity politics fails to be the proper distraction for this globalist elite, will this elite, this upper level of the U.S. government be willing to start an international war, say in Syria, say in Ukraine? Will they be willing to turn up the heat that much?
Iran. And everything is in place, being put in place for that as a possible fallback position. Because, over the last, almost 40 years now, it's part of the DNA of American political culture. Iran is evil, okay? So I wouldn't be surprised that that's being put into play right now. Look at Pompeo, look at Bolton. I mean, because Trump's doing exactly the opposite they want with North Korea, okay? So, because Trump is doing it for legacy, he's doing it for the Nobel Prize. I mean, if peace can be brought to the peninsula, I don't care what gifts or prizes he gets. I could care less. Okay, but also with this whole Korean initiative, the military-industrial complex is not happy about this. Okay, not happy at all. Look at the share prices; they went down. Okay, but there's another enemy out there. Okay, another one. Okay, and it's really interesting. I wonder if, and I think it's mistakenly thought, this possible upcoming summit with Putin and Trump it's almost like Trump wants to take the Russians out of the equation so he can focus in on Iran, which is it's kind of ridiculous. But I mean, I think there's still these starry-eyed people in the U.S. that think we need this remember what Nixon did? He put the Chinese against the Soviets and all that. Well, that's a different historical time. You're not going to be able to pull Russia and China away from Iran. That train has already left the station. But they might think otherwise. And I think that's another caveat that's in play here, to somehow soothe the Russians, which won't work. I tell you that. Okay. But I think that they are looking at an international conflict to focus everybody's attention, because at this point in time, Trump is he's all in with North Korea. I mean, I saw an interview with Governor Huckabee. Trump is really invested in the North Korean story. Okay, and I think that he's going to tell his people to back off. But the way he talks about Iran, remember at the United Nations General Assembly. So that's a possibility right there. It's very dangerous, interesting times.
Very dangerous. I think you said it best. Iran might be that fallback, final resort to once again to salvage what I guess is now a very common word, which is the deep state, or you could even say the global elite. Deep state. I mean.
Let me finish on this thought here, and this will sound really maybe crazy, but it's something I've been thinking about over the last couple of days. Is that the deep state may make a concession to Trump. A massive pardon. A lot of pardons on both sides to soothe this thing down. Okay? It's not inconceivable. They could take the five baddies that, with Comey and his cabal. And then you have like Flynn and Manafort, Papadopoulos, and just say, hey, let's parlay. It's an interesting thought.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people could say, well, the right will say, look, we're doing this to keep the peace. Okay, we know you guys did things wrong, but we forgive you. We forgive you. It's not inconceivable it'll happen. I mean, is Trump magnanimous? We'll find out. We'll find out if he's magnanimous.
It's better than the alternative, that's for sure, if you ask me. So,
well, the thing is, too, is that we'll end on this. If you accept a pardon, you're implicitly stating your guilt, okay? And that would be what Trump would say,
exactly.
They admitted it.
Exactly. Very good. It is incredible times, without a doubt. And I think this story is just unfolding. And we'll see how identity politics may morph to a conflict with Iran. Hopefully it doesn't. We'll see what happens with the Horowitz investigation, with the Horowitz testimony and the Strzok testimony, Peter Strzok testimony.
Strzok.
Thank you very much. Guys, Peter Lavelle, host of RT's very popular, awesome show, Crosstalk. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, click the subscribe button down below. Also push that notifications bell to get notifications every time we push out a new video, and visit the Duran shop. Pick up a t-shirt and help the Duran. Until next time, take care.